everybody, welcome back to another episode of UHS Presents. I'm your host, Sarah, and with me, as per the usual, is Lori. And this is her super alter ego. I don't know. That's the best I could come up with. I had a little distraction over here. Like the intro music is about to end. And I'm like, okay, the cat is on the counter and I can see her over here and she's doing something bad. And so I'm like, Jeffrey! and I made scalloped potatoes and ham before we did this. And then I left the little ham bone on the counter. And that's what we had, a situation with the ham bone. It's fine now.
I can't blame the cat at that point.
I know it was
too tempting.
Yeah, it was pretty delicious smelling while I was chopping it up, and I had a little swarm under me while I was cutting it up, and I may have been throwing chunks at the cats because it's funny when it sticks to them and then they spin around really fast trying to get it off. They don't have any jobs; they can be amusement. That's what I'm telling you. So.
But like I swear, they wait until the stream starts, like mine do too. Like they're perfectly calm and normal, and then the stream starts and he tries to climb onto the fish tank.
Mm-hmm.
And like yeah. I can't like
it is. It's like they wait and then they're like they see the light go on your screen, and then they're like, it's time. And I mean, it's a little less so since I don't have Twee anymore, since he passed away. It's not as intense, but then I do have the one that likes to come over and get my attention by sticking all of her claws into my ass. Like,
right. That's
fun. Katie's here. Katie said, "Hey guys," and hi, Katie. She said, "Very colorful tonight as well." Yes, that has a purpose. Like, you'll find out. Or you'll already know because you read the title card on the stream. So, Jamie Schmidt says, "Hi there." And I know who you are, but I cannot remember why. Oh, the movie guy. You're the movie guy. Yeah, the guy. I'm one of the many Godzilla nerds that I met when we went to see Godzilla.
Oh, nice.
Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. Yeah, and then and Jamie's doing a movie, and we it was a very quick little plug for the movie that we gave, but it's a horror movie, and that's not like I don't hate horror movies or anything. I'm just like, it's just not my thing. So I want our horror fans, our horror loving fans, to tell me what they think of it at some point, because I don't think it's been released yet. They're still working on it.
Oh, awesome.
So we'll find out. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, what do we have for UHS news today?
Surgeon 5 is almost completely shipped. I just have about 25 international packages that need to go out. And the sundering is almost done. We're aiming to get it to the printer beginning of December and get you guys the digital files as well beginning of December. So we're scrambling to get it done. It's fucking awesome. There's so much good art, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later as well. But the story's awesome, the adventures are awesome, the art's awesome. Very excited.
You are not ready. We're not ready yet, but you're not ready when it happens. Like, you are not ready. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah, so that's pretty exciting too. And what did we just finish? Oh, we just finished Miss Medusa. I was like, I feel like there's another banner that I'm supposed to put up here, but there isn't, because we actually don't have anything going on right now. It's crazy. It feels wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah. We're trying to wrap up so many projects that we decided to slow down, especially with the holidays and everyone's busy and their money's spent, and we give them a chance to get some money back. Miss Medusa number 2, the Kickstarter is done. You can still go to uhstudios.com/kickit and pre-order it via backer kit. There's like 2 pages left to color, I think, and then we're lettering it, and then it's done, and then we're sending it to the printer. So it's really close to being done, and it looks so good.
Yes, I like, oh man, all of it. It's just I'm still like, all the work that Paul puts into it, I don't think that it is appreciated enough. Is so the detail, and oh my god, it's just so like really just take it into the bathroom when you got a long poop and just really look at it, because it is so detailed and it deserves. I mean, maybe it just seems like when everybody focuses the best is when you're pooping, right? Like you got your mind is clear, right?
Or in the shower, but you can't bring it in the shower, so it's got to be.
You got to be careful about the shower,
right?
I mean, if you're careful and don't drop it, you could do a bath, I guess, and like read it in the bath. But I wouldn't. I'm not good enough to not drop it into the water if I'm taking a bath, so I'm not going to do that. But
waterproof comics, this is a thing maybe we need to work on.
Yes. Yeah, everybody comment on whether or not you want us to make some waterproof comics. Or I guess you could just put your iPad in a Ziploc bag, I guess, because it still works through the plastic, right? And then it's like waterproof iPad.
As long as it doesn't fog up, right? Then it would work.
Right, but it shouldn't do that as long as there's no moisture inside the bag.
Okay, right.
I'll do some tests and get back to y'all on that, okay? Katie said, I'm coloring sundering stuff as we speak. We're speaking. Katie's typing, so not speaking for Katie.
And coloring.
Yes. And if you haven't, I think that you posted it on the UHS Facebook page at least, right? That Katie's dragon that she just finished, like it's posted somewhere. Go find our social media. It's posted somewhere. It's fucking insane, right?
Yeah. And I think we're gonna make, I was talking to Katie about it. We're gonna do shirts probably with the dragon, but we're also gonna do like giant, 18 by 24 prints, so people can really, like posters, sorry, I should say, so people can really see all the detail that she put into the dragon.
Yeah, because everybody, if you don't know, Katie's crazy, and she drew every single scale.
Right. There's no brush.
Crazy.
She didn't use a cheating brush. Like, she didn't use a brush to do it. Not that it's cheating, but like, she didn't use a brush to take any shortcuts. She just painted each scale one at a time because she's crazy. Yeah. So we need to show you that detail on a larger.
Yes, it definitely is poster worthy. It's so wild, and it's really good, and it will. I'm sure we'll be showing off some of that. We don't have any of Katie's art to show you tonight, but go to our social media and look at it there, and also we'll be showing Katie's stuff off. We have, and we will again. Dresden Media, is that how you say that? Dresden Media says there's a paper called Never Tear, but I'm not sure if it's still being manufactured. We'll research. Thank you. Let us know. I don't know. So Never Tear means also never bleed, no ink bleed as well, because that's what we need too, in addition to Never Tear. I want to know more. I'm intrigued.
Yes.
Let us know. J-Man said, what's up, Sarah and Lori? What's up with you? Thanks for joining us. Oh, look at that. First try on the pronunciation. Go me. I didn't fuck it up.
Nice work.
I try. I do try. So tonight, obviously, if you read the thumbnail card, you know that we're talking about queer representation, LGBTQ, I don't remember them all. There's a lot of letters, but the plus at the end as well. LGBTQIA plus.
IA.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't like. I don't remember. I can't remember what I did today. So, I got yelled at by a lady in a parking lot today. That was fun.
Oh, you should. I can't believe how grumpy people are. You should talk about this. You should.
Yeah, I can tell the story. It's a pretty quick story. Aw, I broke my little crappy costume ring. Oops. So I had a checkup, like a regular doctor's appointment, and I was listening to a podcast. It's some more news. I don't know if anybody listens to that one, but Cody Johnston and Katie Stoll. Yeah, them. And Cody was on there just releasing a barrage of fucks, right? And it was at a particular moment where he was like screaming snowflakes and fuck and just lots of, kind of offensive words, but nothing that a mature adult can't handle. But when I was pulling into the parking lot next to this white minivan, and my car door, my driver's side car door doesn't open from the inside, so I got to roll down the window and open it from the outside because I'm cheap and I'm not going to fix it. And so I open up the car door and I still have the car running, so the podcast is still going, and it was on really loud. And so out of the door goes fuck, snowflakes, fuck, and this lady is unloading her children, and so she kind of looks at me and she goes, that's really inappropriate for kids. And so this was about a 50-50 shot of me responding with, well, fuck you, lady, and also with just a shrug and a giggle, which is the latter is what she got. I kind of went like and kind of giggled and walked off. And she started to that made her madder. And she actually swore herself. Like, she's like, that's a really shitty attitude or something. I can't remember. She's like, that's a really shitty attitude. And I responded with more shrugs and giggles. And so I kind of rushed off after that because I was like,
first of all, as though you should control what you're listening to in your car because her kids might be nearby. Like how would you know? And how would you
yeah. And also, I don't even know her. She doesn't matter to me. I didn't know her then. I don't know her now. I cannot remember her face. I can remember her white minivan, and I can remember that she had blonde hair. And of course she fucking did.
Right. I mean, I can assume that her children exist in the universe today and they've heard the F word. So people who listen to shit in their cars, you know what I mean?
That was a dumb stance to take in the 80s. And
then she swears at you on top of it, which makes it even better.
That was my favorite part, was that she screamed a vulgar word to cuss me out for having vulgar. It's like, your kids you're gonna have to expose them to it sooner or later. You might as well, just with this completely innocuous partial thing that you heard that you didn't even hear all of, that is going to be complete nonsense to the kids because it was a political news and humor podcast thing. So they're not going to understand. They were clearly too young to understand the nuance of everything. And it was all just him shouting fuck a lot at that moment anyway. So there was nothing to understand. Just teach your kids that sometimes adults say naughty words, Yeah, no shit, right? Yeah. No shit. She made it worse by drawing attention to it, right? That's its own problem right there. In church listening to R. Kelly, there's a lot of layers there, isn't there?
There's layers to that.
There is, yeah.
Okay.
So it was fun. It was fun. And yeah, I was it was lately been more of a, I'm surprised that I responded by laughing, by finding it funny, because normally I think that it would probably in the recent history of my life have skewed to the screaming back at her, but I didn't, and I don't know why. I have no idea why I did not respond with fuck you, lady, because I should have.
I mean, I feel like I would have been in shock. That's why I wouldn't have responded. I would have been like I'm in my car, you're over there, what?
Yeah, I was like, what version of not reality do you live in, lady?
Yeah,
because it's
I
clearly
think I just would have stared at her
dystopian hellscape that we live in now, wherein your children hearing the word fuck is the least harmful thing that could happen to them right now. Am I wrong? I don't think I am.
Right. That's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah. So we have guests, like we do, and they're gonna come and talk to us about how queer is not an agenda and why. So let's introduce our good friend D Fish. Hello, D.
Hello.
Hey.
I'm so loving that background too. I told you before, and I'll tell you again. It's fantastic, and you should just keep it up forever. You should just paint your whole house like that. I bet you could get some wallpaper on Spoonflower or some shit, and just wallpaper like that. All of it. Oh, and then our another good friend, Ryan Robinson, the originator.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Sometimes Lori and I both click the same thing because we're both excited to show y'all.
Yeah.
And then we cancel each other out and you don't see it.
Hello.
I like this
J-Man.
energy.
Yes.
Dresden has more energy than I do. I need some of that energy, please. Give me some.
I think
like
that's
it.
caffeine. You need caffeine.
Yeah.
That's it. And J-Man said, I'm the better person here with this story.
Hello.
I mean, possibly not. I mean, sure, absolutely. Thank you for the compliment on me not being the immature asshole for once. Because that's usually how I would have responded, but she didn't think I wasn't the asshole. She thought I was a bigger asshole, I guess. I don't know.
No matter how you reacted, I think she would have been shitty.
Yeah,
Because like you
nothing
went
would have
into
been-
it and you did nothing wrong and she was
Yeah.
already shitty.
Maybe
So.
if I had collapsed to my knees and like grabbed her ankle and begged her for forgiveness, maybe.
Imagine
I'm
that.
so fucking sorry.
That I've said that you children hurt me.
Tears.
Oh, fuck. Jesus. God damn it. I'm so sorry.
Oh. Yeah. Just
I
scare the crap out of her. I feel like that's what that
Yeah. And then like that absolutely would have made it worse. And she would have been mortified and she would have had to explain to her children what happened, which, fuck, why didn't I do that? Son of a bitch. I mishandled the
Yeah.
situation.
It's-
Son of a bitch. So, okay. Let's try and stay on topic because we're a serious show. Son of a bitch. We're a serious show here.
Fucking A.
Did you hear her? Did you hear that? That snarky chuckle. It's because she actually watches the show and she knows. Okay, so we have some stuff from Dee and some stuff from Ryan to show you before we get into the actual meat and potatoes here. The ham and potatoes,
Meat
if it
and
were.
potato.
Yes. Like the ones that I was cooking and that Arthur grabbed the detritus, what is the leftovers? She got the ham bone off the counter. Anyway. Yeah, so I guess we'll do Ryan's stuff first. Ryan has been hard at work on the sundering, right? And
Correct.
we've got this amazing thing, this amazing piece of art. I don't know if you have anything that you would like to say about it.
I think this one is called The Greatest Ever. It's an elderly elf. I guess Hannibal wasn't when he wrote this. I guess inspired by one of his I'm not for sure friends or related friend. I'm not for sure, but he wanted me to use her face, so I painted her face onto the elf, and did that and followed his direction on his what would you call them, Lori? Script notes?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna call them script notes. Yeah, script notes. But this is called The Greatest Ever, which is a really important NPC in the Sonder.
It's very cool.
Mhm.
Is there is it a 6 or am I just not looking at it right?
It is a 6.
Yep, it's a 6.
It is a 6. The 6 has significance. Do we get to know about that right now, or is that something everybody has to wait till they get their book to find out?
But you got it and find out. Play the game.
All right.
Yeah.
And then we got these, which are yeah, it's doing it to me again where I want to look at the purple dragon, but the green dragon is just it looks like an actual gem. I'm just Can I get like a blanket printed with the green dragon on it and then just like sleep wrapped up in the green dragon all the time?
These are a combination of dragons. I am tasked to do 4. They are called the Chromatic Cartel Badass Rebel Dragons. That is the asset of the art. The one on the right is Hunger Wild, which is the green dragon, and the one on the left is Splinter Thought, which is a purple dragon, which I am still messing with because I'm not completely satisfied yet with it. But yeah, Splinter Thought is I'm gonna say about 80% done, but Hunger Wild is done. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh man.
Yeah,
I'm excited
That's-
about Splinter Thought too, because Hannibal is kind of introducing like a psionic dragon.
Mhm.
And I think that should be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And he's
Oh
also
man, you guys are
introducing-
not ready for this book.
Yeah, I think he's introducing. What I think the last thing he's introducing was. Hold on, I'm sorry. I was on something, but I lost it.
It's okay.
I literally
We
lost
can tell
it.
him later.
Oh yeah, the last
Oh.
dragon is the binary. Yeah, the last dragon I have to paint is binary. Yeah, which is cool.
Awesome.
I thought it was a neat twist.
Yeah. The purple ones. What? Which one was the purple one? Oh wait, no. I'm
Katie,
not using my brains here.
The purple dragon, Sarah.
The purple dragon.
purple dragon.
I was like, where the fuck was there a purple person? And I was, my brains. It's okay.
Yeah, but that's the Sandring that I'm proud to be part of.
Oh yeah, we're super glad that you are a part of it because I mean your art is so amazing. It's like it's in a league of its own. You have the way that you use color is. I want to do it. I know that I'm too lazy to ever actually teach myself to be that good at it. So you got no worries of competition from me, is what I'm saying. But if I could just magically be good at it, that'd be cool. I'd take it.
I'm really excited.
Yeah. Oh man, it's gonna be this in a chuck full of such beautiful art, like Ryan's art and Katie's art and
Katie's art,
John.
John's in it. It's a lot of deliciousness.
Yeah,
It's
there's
delicious.
still, and I mean, we might add more people. I might add more people's art to it. You don't know. We don't know. You don't know. Might happen. I don't know. Don't worry though. I'm not gonna try a dragon because I'm too intimidated by Ryan's dragons and Katie's dragons, and I'm not gonna draw every fucking scale individually because that's
Katie drew every scale. I'm not drawing any scales. If you don't know. So, Katie is better than me. So, yeah,
There's different ways to draw dragons. It's okay.
Yeah, Katie's on another level.
Yeah, I have drawn dragons, but they are very most of my stuff is very cartoony. Especially if you set it next to yours, it's gonna look like a 4-year-old drew it because that's the way that I do stuff, and that's my skill level at this point in my life. So we'll see. But not in the Sundering. We will not see in the Sundering because I am not gonna do that because that would be mortifying for me. And also that would make the quality of the book come down. We don't want that. So anyway, before I make this worse, let's talk about D stuff before we go into the topic of the night. We got, and I fucking love this piece, this which you did to introduce. I mean, do you even need to say anything else?
Yeah.
I mean, you can if you want to, but you don't really need to because it's amazing.
Well, I wanted to do something to really play up the idea that the first UHS collection of my Finding D comic strips are going to be in full color for the first time. Normally it's black and white. The strip's been black and white since 2017. And I'm getting to see all the stuff that Katie's been working on with the colors. And, I'm super excited, and I really wanted something as a piece that would really showcase the idea of, the splash of color. And, if I can drop an 80s reference into something in as self-effacing a way as possible, I will do so.
Right. Well, and it's ultra gay, right? Like that.
It's super gay. Yes. Look at that agenda pouring all over me.
Right.
Oh shit! We should have led with the other one. We should have led with your cover so that you could have segued us in perfectly. Ah.
Oh, either
So-
way, both are agenda driven,
Yep.
right? We can.
Oh, absolutely. I'm literally
Yes.
waving a flag. And actually, this is memories. This would be the premiere. This cover has never been seen outside of our conversation. So this is going to be the cover for the color collection.
Ah. And look at it. It's a masterpiece.
So,
Yeah,
I love that.
Is it
Very
weird? I
Star
keep
Wars
wanting to
inspired,
control
I love
plus
it.
on these. I know it's not gonna
Very, very few dragons in this book. I can't say zero. There is at least one dragon in this book, but
work. Hmm,
there you
very
go.
few.
there you go. Oh, it's it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it too. We workshopped. Did we workshop? It was maybe 2 concepts, but this one was just so good.
Yeah, there were 2 concepts, and when I started going into the inking, is literally on the fly. I realized instead of just a big rock, because this is a an homage to the Hildebrandt Star Wars movie poster, and the sketches just had a rock, and I'm like, I went in there and I started getting ready to do the pencils. I'm like, oh no. A pile of nerd stuff that represents, more of the ideas that are, in the book. It's, it's a semi-autobiographical comic, so it's about my life. So obviously the trans factor is in there and represented, but also, I've got Heidi in there, we've got our dog Poe in there, and we've got all the nerd stuff that we love so much.
Yeah, there's so many little Easter
Perfect.
eggs in the pile. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I
it is
love
perfect.
it. I love it. Captain America, Jason, all that. Sweet.
Mm.
All non-actionable versions, of course. It's Jimmy Voorhees and
Right.
Exactly.
Colonel United States.
There you go.
That one just rolls off the tongue. I love
Yeah.
it.
What? Oh, sorry. That's
Okay.
great.
So, queer is not an agenda. We've got a decent amount of representation from the whole community, I think, here. It's not a 100%, of course, because I don't think that exists. But, Katie said trans factor sounds like a sun cream.
Yes.
Yeah,
What do you
let
have,
us know in the
Walter?
comments if you want UHS to start making cosmetics
Right.
like sunscreen.
Trans factor. I like
we'll
it.
make
Trans factor. UHS 50.
Right.
It protects you against the dangerous rays of the rainbow.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to make a
It's better.
comment about how we could sell it on Alex Jones' website there, but I don't think,
Oh,
I think maybe
Jesus.
that doesn't exist anymore.
Nice
I
talk.
think
Nice fun right there, Lauren.
That's so
Nice
Yeah,
sad.
It's a spirit store now.
Gee. Gee.
It actually is. They turned his old studio into a spirit store.
Oh my god. Amazing.
That makes me so happy. Okay.
Oh,
That's so much joy.
it's really good. Okay. So, I have a question for our guests here. When we say queer is not an agenda, what exactly do you mean when you say that? Like, so, Dee, I know that you have some very strong thoughts on this. That's what got this whole topic going. So, why don't you start us off? When you hear that queer, like you hear about the queer agenda, what kind of rage do you want to impart on everyone?
The idea that there is this secret cabal of LGBTQIA plus individuals out there, that we're all on the paycheck of some secret Illuminati, and we're out there, we're making the frogs gay, and we're using chemtrails in the planes to gay everybody up, and folks like me are going around and we're grooming children to make them all want to cut their dicks off and become trans, and it's this massive conspiracy. It's the agenda. My agenda is to avoid diarrhea and make sure I have enough coffee in the morning and not be late to work. And I have agendas. My agenda is, did I leave a foundation line here? I didn't. Yay, the agenda is complete.
Right.
Right. How about just finding a frickin' the foundation shade that matches? I mean, that's my agenda.
That's not even possible. I think my skin tone changes when I find one. Like it's on a quantum level. On a quantum level, my body says, "Fuck you."
Yeah, it's just you get the perfect shade when you're in the store, and then as you're walking from the store to your car, then you get the suntan. Like that's a magic suntan, and then it doesn't work anymore. That's how.
Because we didn't have the trans lotion, the UHS 50.
Right.
But yeah, there's this idea that there's this big agenda that the movies are all part of the agenda. It's the liberal agenda. It's the gay agenda. It's the queer agenda, and they're gonna make all these characters gay to make your kids gay, and because God, if your child sees that a gay person exists, they immediately become gay. Don't you know?
Magic.
Wow, that's what happened to me.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean,
that's what Dee's background is. It's like a gay.
It's the Hypnotoad.
Right.
It's the Hypnotoad.
It's the laser.
We're gonna gay you up with magic. This would work better if it was visible. Woo.
There we go.
And the whole thing's gonna get shut down. But yeah, there's
man, demonetized. Way to go. We're not.
It's too gay now.
Lori,
okay.
Demonetized. She just has another pun.
There you go.
There it is.
We need to make a list.
Right.
I gotta get my Brady Bunch pointing correct.
Oh my god!
I pointed to literally nothing.
The number of D puns that have just happened since
they descend upon us.
Just, oh my god, they're everywhere. They're fucking like how when you buy a Toyota and then suddenly you see every Toyota on the road. Like we are doing D's book, and now there's D puns. Just I see them everywhere. I see them in my sleep. It's D puns everywhere.
You D them everywhere.
Indeed. So okay. Wow. Okay. Same
just
question to Ryan.
Shut it down.
Yeah.
Ryan's like,
now.
let me.
Sorry,
let
Ryan.
me
Didn't mean to waste your time.
What? No, I'm sure.
Yeah. So yeah, like what kind of stuff have you encountered with the queer agenda that you need to air out here too? It's like, what do we mean by that anyway?
Lord. Let me tell you, there's never been a queer agenda. Okay, this is made by the right completely, and conservatives and fundamentals and evangelicals. This is not something that is real or even remotely real. The thing is that gay hasn't become really important until, in my ideal retrospective, probably in the 2010s, when it's much easier to come out now because the time is changing. There's more representation being seen. But like I said, not enough representation, in my opinion, still to this day, because representation normalizes things and makes things practical and real in life. So when you're not seeing these things still, it still doesn't exist, and there will still be bigotry and all that towards this eclectic group of people. I mean, gay is not something that is just actively comes in you and says, hello. It doesn't. Being gay, black, was a struggle. I literally didn't come out until like after college. Like it was a long time to like be comfortable in my own skin and be who I am today and be happily married for going on a generation in gay time next week. So, but my thing is like, there's no agenda. There's never been an agenda. Like, we had to fight for who we are, to represent our culture and represent our sexuality and represent who we are as individuals. And it's still not good. It's still not good, and the fact that it can all be taken away tomorrow. My thing is like, there's no agenda here. It's just made up to make everyone feel like, oh my God, if it ain't white, it ain't right.
Yeah. Just
Well-
equal, like asking for equal rights is not an agenda.
Yeah. I mean, okay. First of all, happy anniversary. And,
That's next Friday.
next Friday. Yeah, happy anniversary next Friday. And
Thank you.
secondly, yeah, it's not something. It's been very recently that I made the connection in my head between all the women's rights that are being taken away, and
Mhm.
it's like
Mhm.
all the women who are pissed off about this we all need to get together as one big group, because they cannot stop us if we then you're gonna have an agenda on your hands, guys. Like, that's when the agenda starts. It's like, I don't want to have fewer, as a woman, I don't want to have fewer rights than a dead person, because right now, technically, I don't have, like, a corpse has more rights. And Clarence Thomas literally straight up said that we need to reevaluate the laws, the gay marriage and even interracial marriage. They even said that, which is what the fuck, right?
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
this is my thing. Humans don't ever learn from it. We just repeat shit. This is my thing. We just keep repeating shit. Like, there is no way in hell, like, the point of overturning Roe versus Wade and then going to take my rights away for gay marriage and then trying to take away it's bizarre. This is 2022. If you want to let's go back to segregated times, then why not? Like, let's go.
Right.
Like, I don't get it.
If you want to talk about an agenda, there's your agenda. That's
Thank you, dude.
Let me get on my political soapbox. That is the conservative agenda. That's exactly what they want. They want this to be a feudal society where only they have their rights, everyone else is marginalized. They turn the LGBT community, we got to be their boogeyman for the last 10 years. We are the other. We are the they. We are the great threat coming in the night. And while they're having everyone look at us and, what are we up to? They're taking away women's rights. Just sweep them away. And they're going to continue sweeping away all these tiny little rights while having everybody point at, a threat that's invented. That is a literal agenda. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things, I don't know, it's in my life, I've noticed when you have conservatives or regressives that are out there, whenever they're using these little buzzwords or there's the gay agenda, it's kind of like when they're, you've got these politicians that are talking about the bathroom bills and we have to be careful about what the queers and the trans people are going to do in the bathrooms. And then you look at the actual record and it's Republican politicians that have a bad record in public bathrooms. Whatever they're accusing you of is what they're doing. If they're accusing us of having an agenda, it's because they have an agenda and they don't want that known. Even though at this point now, it's so goddamn obvious that they're not even trying to pretend that they don't. They're barely pretending,
And somehow people,
I swear, if they had won the last election, they'd just be Sieg Heiling.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
You're right. That's why I'm oh-godding. Yes, that's a really good question. Is it Eman2G? I don't know how your name is pronounced, so tell me if I did it right. Eman2G. But that's a good question that you have. Because I thought okay, so like there's just it's not the LGBT lens, but it's through the lens of a woman. Do you remember that scene at the end of Endgame, Avengers Endgame, when they're trying to get the gauntlet back to the van, and they're like Captain Marvel comes to take it from Peter Parker, and he's like, I don't know if you're gonna make it, and then all the women fall down in and go, don't worry, she's got help, and then it's all the female Avengers come in, and I did not, the first time I saw it, I did not notice that it was all female. There were no men in there, and the second time I watched it, I was like, this feels a little like they tried a little too hard on this.
A little pivot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So like that one for me was and I wonder, are there like, what's the worst example of that for like LGBTQ pandering?
Oh,
Do we have
So yeah,
example
the
right off the top of
question,
our head?
if you guys can't see the question, how does one find the line between inclusion/representation in creative projects and pandering to a particular fan base?
Well, you need gay writers. One, you need representation in the writing room to act as a person of what they know, you know. And my thing is not, there's still writing rooms that still divide diversity and don't include gay writers in certain things or aspects of certain shows. I mean, there's still this mainstream divide of what is appropriate to be on television and what is not appropriate to be on television. If it's gotten better, I don't think so, because there's still not enough diversity. There's more gay people than just white jock looking motherfuckers and, you know, sexy lipstick lesbians. You know, there's many other people who are different body types, different people, different cultures in general in being gay, you know. And I don't even want to talk about the trans aspect, because it's just I think there's only a few good representations that I enjoy and love of trans, and that was in Sense8. I love that program, love that show. It's beautiful to me. That was a good representation. You know, they tried to do something new with Queer as Folk, but I hated it. Didn't enjoy that, the new school of Queer as Folk. But with culture,
Orange is the New Black. I haven't watched it, but I heard that one was good. I don't know.
right,
Thoughts on that
I
one?
mean, like, it can be better. But my thing is,
Okay.
it's like you need writers in that kind of space. And for me, like with television and movies, still for me, it's tough. It's real tough, you know? And like, there is a certain eye in culture to be represented, and it's not enough. And I think for me, it's not represented well. And sometimes it is pivoted just to check mark a box. Oh, we got a gay character. Boom, they're in.
Mhm.
You know, but it's not represented well. You know, I still can't watch certain shit today because it's just awful. Like, it's awful. Yeah.
Right. What tends to happen when like the writers or the artists involved aren't gay or trans or of the community is the character ends up being just a stereotype or a caricature.
Yeah, or killed.
Sorry?
Or killed. Immediately killed off.
Sure, right, exactly.
That's what I was thinking about. I was like, that's always the token character that dies first in the film.
How tragic.
To prove the situation is serious, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
In comics, like, it's not a good queer example, but the most recent example of something like this was the Miles Morales as Thor.
Oh God, I was just gonna bring that up.
Which is,
God.
you know, there were no black writers involved, and the artist, I believe, was also not black, and they wrote him as a stereotype of a black person through the lens of white people.
By Odin's Fade line in it. Was
yeah,
that
there was
one?
by
Oh
Odin's
my God,
Fade,
that is-
and there was fried chicken, and there was like a lot of shit that was just like.
There was a lot of shit that was just
really
bluntly
want to know who the hell
racist in that one.
and let that go to
I don't
print.
care. I don't care how white you are. You had to know that was a stupid idea. They had to know, and they did it anyway.
All
Like,
they
at
had
that
to
point,
do was
is
hire a
willful.
black writer. And that's exactly the same thing within queer like media. You don't just throw a queer character in, like, you have a queer writer, you have a It's really
You know,
simple.
even
Yeah,
if
'cause
you
that's
don't,
when you-
even if you,
Go ahead, D.
you know, I'm sorry, even if, like you said, obviously, yes, that certainly helps in that regard. But on the same token, it's the writer's job to do the due diligence in that regard. Miles Morales was co-created by Brian Michael Bendis, and
Mhm.
no one was looking at Miles and saying, look at that horrible stereotype, because Miles wasn't the stereotype. He was an interesting, well-rounded character.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
I mean, just a certain amount of basic respect helps you keep on one line of good representation versus pandering.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
you don't
and
end
if you're
up
not
with being offensive or a punchline.
if you're not sure,
Yeah.
then you can hire a sensitivity reader. If you're really
Yeah.
not, if you're not sure,
Yeah.
if you're
Or get
Yeah,
a
and
think
it's-
tank room. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at this point, it's not even optional at this point. Like, you could get away with that shit 30 or 40 years ago, but even at this point now, if you are not going to hire the writers that are the same people that you're trying to write, then you have to hire a sensitivity reader and make sure that you
There's
aren't.
only very few programs and movies that have moved me to say that is good representation. I can count them on one hand. As Moonlight, Sense8, Pose, and Heartstopper currently. I don't even have a fifth. Those are only things that I like for gay media and gay culture. There's been no representation that I can find anything different that has moved me. I'm like, oh, I see me in that. You know what I mean? So, like, it's bad.
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not great at all. Like, how about you, D? What are some good examples of trans representation and LGBTQ in general representation? What that you can think of? Anything besides Ryan's list?
Sense8 obviously is it's kind of almost a given. It's just really, really good. Not too much. Most of the stuff. Sophie Campbell's stuff is great. Wet Moon had a lot of good representation. Pardon me. I've enjoyed some of the representation, LGBTQ representation in John Allison's work, like Giant Days. Has a prominent lesbian relationship that's just simply written as a relationship. It's just, I'm completely engrossed. When it comes to transgender stuff, it's honestly, I'm struggling to think of a representation off the top of my head that I'm like, yeah, that gets it. That makes me feel like
You're there.
you have,
Yeah.
I know that the creators of She-Ra weren't allowed to include a trans character. Perfuma was supposed to be. And the creators even said she refuses to retroactively say that the character was trans because she thinks that's just very disrespectful, because otherwise she would have hired a trans actress to perform the voice, which they were able to do with a kind of tertiary character in the last season. I thought that handled it pretty well because, I mean, yeah, they beat you over the head with the iconography of the original toy line, but the characters were just written as characters. I cried a number of times in that show where it's like, when they just casually have the character drop the line of "that's my wife," I was just like, in this cartoon, that's just a great adventure cartoon.
Yeah.
And they didn't hang like a giant sign on it, and it wasn't okay, there was some tragedy there, but it wasn't like they didn't just kill the character off. They had to put the character in peril for the scenario, but I'm rambling now. Yeah, trans representation, I find the best stuff is still unfortunately metaphorical. Sophie Campbell, again,
That
who's
is really
a
depressing.
trans cartoonist who's currently the writer on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for IDW, is doing a lot of very great work on that title. A lot of the diehard old school fans can't stand it because it's not your standard turtle book, but it has got representation out the wazoo, but it's all it's that Star Trek style. It's the metaphorical. We're doing it with mutants, but the point is very there.
Yeah. I like Strange New Worlds, but fucking hate Star Trek to that. But
Katie mentioned
really
mentioned here, and I was thinking
Star Trek so much. Go ahead.
I had been talking to Katie about the Dragon Prince because the new season just dropped like last week, and they have really good representation. I think that the amount of non-white characters surprised me because usually you get one, maybe two, and this one that it doesn't. It like there's equal almost. I mean, I'll be honest, like looking at it through the lens of a white person, I wasn't able to pay attention enough to see and be like, oh wow, because it's, as a white person, I always see me in the characters. That's unfortunately true. But then they have gay characters, and I haven't gotten to this point yet, but Katie says there's a trans person in the new season. So no spoilies, Katie, because she already spoiled that for me.
I mean, I think for good representation for trans, I like O's. The ballroom scene, it's black, but it with trans, it's beautifully done. Beautifully done. Yeah. Beautiful.
I'm happy for that, but also like it sucks that I'm so fucking excited. Exactly. It sucks that I'm so fucking excited for that because it should be old hat by now. We shouldn't even notice it when it happens now. That's how our world should be, and yet it isn't in 2022.
That's the thing. Like even in Interview with the Vampire, which I'm a fucking Anne Rice whore for everything Anne Rice. Because like even that they didn't even go far enough for me. I'm like, these motherfuckers are in love. Like, show it. Like, don't play with me. Yeah. Don't toil with me. Like, it's represented that they're in love, and they have their moments. But I'm just like, give me more with Lestat and Louis showing more of a family dynamic with Claudia. They only did like a few scenes with that. I'm like, okay, cool, thank you. But like, give me more of them loving each other, comforting each other. Fucking each other. Give me more of that. Like, show me that they are together. Like, instead of being like, yeah, okay, kiss here, kiss there.
Yeah. And then tragedy porn.
It's such a big deal.
Like, that's how. When I see those gay moments, I'm like, bravo, television. But like I said, it's not enough. It's like slow burns and shit. Yeah.
Star Trek Discovery has.
No, Lori.
A non-binary character.
Yes.
Played by a non-binary actor.
Lori.
No.
It's bad. It's bad. Star Trek is bad today. It's bad. Sorry, guys.
Fuck, I gotta watch some more Star Wars, don't I? Or Star Trek. I gotta see what the hell y'all are talking about.
I do like at least that they have a non-binary actor playing the non-binary character, but it could definitely be better. Yeah.
But like, I feel like her character is not. I feel like it's a check mark. Like this woke culture of having all these kind of representation characters just to fill a check mark to say, oh, you're in there, but you're not represented well. You're not written by a non-binary character person. You're not written by a gay person. You're written by straight men who know nothing about who is binary, trans, gay, lesbian, queer, pansexual. You're not written by these people. Like, these are all straight people majority of the time. So like, it just doesn't work for me.
Sure. E-Man had another question says, can I be devil's advocate here? When do you think it will be good enough in terms of inclusivity? At what point can we say, okay, we've made it now?
Don't force the character to be gay. If you're writing a straight character, write a fucking straight character. You don't need to fill a check mark. I am not opposed to watching straight people in shows. I'm not opposed to watching gay people in shows. Just write the character as somebody who is represented in that culture, in that community, in that area. Like, don't force it upon me like you're telling me something. don't do it. Make it as simple as I'm watching, Family Matters or fucking like a normal television sitcom show. Like, don't.
Right. It's when they force it. That's when it starts to fall into the hands of the conservative agenda people.
Yeah, it's seriously cringy.
Yeah. E-Man's question. E-Man's question made me think of a Ruth Bader Ginsburg quote when someone asked her, "When will there be enough women on the Supreme Court?" And Ruth, she responded with, "When there's 9, when they're all women, then it will be enough, because nobody blinked an eye when it was all men." So, and that's maybe when we can say, okay, that's enough inclusivity, is when nobody
no one's
cares.
blinking an eye.
Yeah, it's like when all the characters are gay and nobody cares. When all the Supreme Court justices are women and nobody cares. That's
when we don't have to have this discussion.
Yes,
right. Thank you.
Exactly.
When we don't have to wonder, it's just that these are the characters who have appeared.
Thank you.
Where there's not going to be a debate, and where I'm not going to be on a panel being asked about, it's a superhero story. Why do we have to shoehorn sexuality into a superhero story? And it's only ever brought up when it's gay people, as opposed to the shoehorned heterosexual relationships at the core of literally every other one of these stories. Lois and Clark, Tony and Pepper, Peter and Mary Jane, etc., into infinity.
Right.
Inherent part of all of those stories, that's never shoehorned sexuality. It's only when it's Hulkling and Wiccan in Young Avengers. Which I did think was handled well, at least in the arcs that I read before I lost interest in the.
I thought it was handled well too. Wiccan and Hulkling.
In the original arcs, where it wasn't even a plot point initially. That was because they were busier. They were busy doing other shit, so it just kind of came in. Oh yeah, we also have this relationship. And then they addressed it in very real world sense. But I mean, I don't know what's been going on since, because I haven't read it in forever. But in the original Alan Heinberg run of Young Avengers, I thought it was really well handled. I loved that book. Yeah, when it's just a thing that we don't have to do a news article about, and all these things, and people on the internet don't lose their goddamn mind because,
right. They just people can just be part of a story,
and
without
China's not cutting the movie off of distribution because America Chavez has 2 moms in Doctor Strange.
Which is just a thing. It's just a thing that happens, and it's not an event.
When you don't even notice that
they did it in the new DuckTales.
Yeah,
super thrown in where the character of Violet, where what was the line? That's my sister from 2 Misters or something like that, and their 2 dads are in the back all going hi, and that was it. It was never, woohoo.
I thought Eternals did a really good job of handling a gay relationship in a Marvel movie, because they just made it feel like it was nothing. Like when you make something feel as comfortable as anything else, and your vibe and it's beautifully done. And Eternals, when the character is saying, talking about how much they love that person, their spouse, and that this mission is going to take me away from that and threaten that family, and I get to go there, and the movie does such a good job that I have the same feelings I would have for any relationship that is supposed to be a motivating factor for the movie, and you don't think twice about that because it's done so well, and it was. I was just like, oh, you don't even
my
think
favorite
about
character
it.
in the movie.
Like, but like I don't feel it feels like something that's just normal. Like, that's the thing. We gotta get to that point and say normalization is where we need to get. Will we ever get there? I don't know. White America, Okay, you tell me. You tell me. Tell me.
Right. In a
Don't ask me.
like,
I don't fucking know.
in a similar vein too, like having fat characters whose storyline isn't about them being fat.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on that.
Thank you.
As a
bodies
fat person,
are
I
those
have strong
bodies.
feelings about that too.
Oh yeah, that's a huge deal to me in all the stuff that I've worked on. All my personal projects, like when I did the Well Keeper, it was a fantasy adventure comic where the main character, 16-year-old girl, she was fat. Claire in my werewolf novels she's got a pronounced belly on the cover of the book because she has a real normal human body.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
fat people are one of the last remaining stereotypes that we're allowed to make fun of in media. Like fat people are to this day still used as a punchline when, you know, it's not okay to do that with any LGBT people. It's not okay to do that with non-white people. It's not okay to do that with anybody with any kind of disability or you know, any kind of illness of any sort. You know, like it's not okay to do that. But fat people are still fair game, and that drives me crazy. It's like they're still people, and for every fat person that you other, there's at least a couple other people who love that person that you just demeaned and treated like less than human.
Yep.
And that's I don't like that all of these things are so interconnected. Like I like my nice clean portions, but they are all this. Every time you do something shitty like that, like every time you demean somebody just because they're gay or just because they're fat or just because they don't look like you are demeaning you are like that. There is a person next to you that cares about you and that you think that you care about, that knows that now they can't be honest with you and that they love you a little bit less because you don't love them and you just told them, even though you didn't realize it. I have thoughts. I have
Right. There's a new Disney movie and I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Disney or Pixar. And the main character is fat.
Yes.
But it's about her being fat.
It's about her being fat. Yeah, it's about her struggle with accepting her body the way it is. It's like, how about fuck you, Disney? You got like, yes, thank you for giving us a plus size character who's the main character, but also you fucking screwed up the landing so fucking hard on that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, just don't make it about them being fat. Like, it doesn't. Guess what? I'm fat, and most of my life does not revolve around being fat. I don't fucking care about that. And you know, I haven't cared about it since I was in high school, and everybody told me that I should feel bad about it because you're not as much of a person if you're fat. Apparently, I don't know.
Disney Pixar's Turning Red did a good job with body types.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Turning Red. Yeah. Turning Red?
Turning Red from Pixar, that did a very good job with representation of body types.
Mm-hmm.
Also, She-Ra, Glimmer.
Yes. Yeah, She-Ra's great.
She's one of the main. She's basically the deuteragonist.
80 is also in the comments saying that it really pisses her off when fat people are the joke. Any creators who are watching out there, it's not okay. And if you care about us, if you care about Unlikely Hero Studios, if you care about most of the indie studios out that we are all connected to, you know, like you saying that a fat person is a joke are you saying it any sort of, what are they even called? Like, you know, any community, you know, it's the LGBTQ community, it's the fat people community, it's the women, it's the people of color. If you are making fun of any of those people, then you are making fun of us, and that means that you're not really our friend. So don't do it. Stop it.
Be better, you know.
I didn't expect to get so upset about this fucking topic here, man.
It is.
I've had.
It
dovetailed with something that I'm actually really sensitive about.
Diversity, inclusion, and representation is just not shown enough. I mean, we are still, and it's just getting worse because social media makes it worse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it makes it feel like
you
have to like be a certain look or outlook to be successful, you know, and like it makes it so much worse now, and it's to the point where it's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting.
And on social media, you get the most attention for being the worst kind of a human being.
Exactly.
Right? Oh my
100%.
god!
The
Right?
bigger a piece
Oh.
of shit you are, the more people will look
The
at
more
you, and so
clout
people
you get,
respond
and
to
the
that.
the more responses you'll get, the more clout.
You know,
being a
they look on
fucking-
it like a virtue,
Mhm.
and it's
I don't.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel like a little bit of a fraud about the LGBTQ that whole discussion. Like, I'm not straight, but I can pretend to be. It's pretty easy for me to slip into the straight crowd. Nobody really notices one way or the other, and so I feel like a little bit of a fraud ever including myself in the community. And then when you throw in the other stuff that I am, you know, like I'm also female and I'm also fat and I'm also this and I'm also that, and then I start, then it starts to really make me realize that I am not taking this. I like, as serious as I am about it, I should still take it more seriously. My eyes
there's
are
no
opening.
time. There's no time to when you got to be comfortable in your own skin. There's no time on that. Like, your time will come when your time will come. So there's no time with that. Like, ever.
I'm not. Well, it's never been something that I've been like. Well, okay, it was something that I was super secretive about, but like now I'm surrounded by people who don't care about that. That's not the part of me that anybody cares about.
Love you, girl.
So it's easy to be. Thank you. It's easy to be comfortable here, but you know, but like we all, like all of us here, and I'm sure everybody listening, everybody watching, we all had to hide at some point because of who we are.
God, yeah.
And
God, yeah.
so
Oh, God,
it's
God, yeah.
it's nice to have the community. It's nice to have the community to be included in, but also it's like, can the mainstream media get that? Like, stop calling it an agenda, for one. And it's not a fucking agenda. The only agenda is the agenda is to acknowledge the existence of all of us.
What I love so much about Hollywood and queer history, most of the horror movies that y'all all fucking love, okay, that y'all all love, are made by queer directors. Every one of them that you love. All the fucking Universal monsters, Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein, made by queer directors. All actors were queer. Alfred Hitchcock, Rope. You ever watch Rope? You can't get no gayer than that. Okay? Birds, you can't get no gayer than that. Psycho, you can't get no gayer than that. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, you can't get any more gayer than that. So, like,
Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Two. Only two.
That gets gayer than 1.
Yeah, very gay. Like, it's just shocking. A lot of things are coded and for passing, but they're coded as fuck. There's undertones of gay stuff in like a lot of movies, a lot of programs, but it's sad. It's sad that we have to do that to find ourselves in something. It's sad to an umph degree.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we don't have to code this stuff, and apparently it's too fucking coded because there's so many people out there saying that the new Star Trek is ruining the old Star Trek and shit like that. Like, no, you just weren't paying attention. It's always been that way. It's always been that way, guys.
Like, characters and shit are bad and stuff. It's written bad. It's just not good Star Trek. You know, I mean, I've been a Trekkie for all my goddamn life, and it's just not good Trek. That's all it is. I'm not going to say it's bad, because people love it. Yeah.
But like Star Trek has always been a quote unquote liberal agenda, right? So people saying that they want their Star Wars and all the comics that we've ever cared about, like all the DC and Marvel shit, like it's all the code for all this bigotry bullshit that people keep, and now they're trying, like, I think maybe that's part of the conservative, like the mindset, the regressive mindset of the people, because, and I hate to label all conservatives that way, because I know there are some that call themselves conservative that aren't that way, but also you shouldn't call yourself conservative. but I think I lost my point. I'm like so flustered because I didn't expect to get so, like, I didn't expect to have such an outburst of emotion about it, because I think we all know where my childhood trauma was centered around as a kid. That's where I was at. But yeah, like they try to turn that shit around and start pointing out, that you're making it a woke agenda and all that shit. And it's like, if you were paying attention, if you were ever paying attention to this shit, then you would know that it's never not been that way. And
why are they putting this woke liberal agenda into the X-Men? Why are they putting a political message into Captain America?
Yeah, I love that one.
It's not even fucking coded.
Or even the Star Trek thing. It's like, this is this woke liberal bullshit in Star Trek. It used to be subtle. Dude, you had the episode with Frank Gorshin literally painted black on one side of his face and white on the other. For fuck's sake. You could not get any less subtle.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. It's
they
got rid of capitalism in Star Trek. I don't know how they missed that. Like, there's no capitalism anymore.
Yeah.
Hint.
Why do you think that the place that the whole it's such a we're supposed to strive for that? Like, yeah, no more capitalism.
Guys, stop aiming to be the weird dystopian hellscape in the Q in the Encounter at Farpoint. We don't want to be the guys who are shooting up drugs with their gun arms.
Thank you. I don't know. I just think representation for LGBTQ, IA plus it needs a lot of work still, And there are people out there who are writing their own stories, doing their own movies, doing their own independent films, and some are good and some are just absolute trash. But I feel like for me, like representation from mainstream culture to be seen is still a difficulty. It is still an issue to this day, and it's going to be an issue for a while because we have people who don't want people seeing these things, unfortunately. And for culture and inclusion and diversity, there are shows like that are out there that are written. Like, one of my favorite shows is Reservoir Dogs, and it's written by a completely indigenous people. They're all writers and they're all indigenous. It's an indigenous show, but it's unbelievably written, unbelievably well. It's one of the best television shows I've seen in the last 10 years. Not since me falling in love with Breaking Bad and 6 Feet Under. Like, these kind of shows that have this kind of inclusion, this kind of representation, showing factualized, real, serious characters, you can do that. If you can do that for that, why can't I have a show with gay people? Why can't I have a show with every race and they're all fucking bubbling? Why can't I have a show with just, why can't I have inclusion with people with disabilities? Like, give me it all. Make it normalized. Make it real. Make it practical. And like, we're still not doing that. We're not doing any of that. Like, we just got Wakanda Forever, another black positive film. I only can count 4 right now in my hand that are black and positive. Like, 4. That's a damn shame, if I can say that. Like, if anything else I see another black person in, they're either a gang member, shooting drugs, selling drugs, or broke, or struggling, or having issues of some sort, And
God forbid they're an elf.
Or slaves, like Will Smith's new fucking movie that's coming out where he's a fucking slave. Can we stop making fucking slave movies already? Let's fucking move on.
It's right. It's
done with it.
Come on.
Done with it. Done.
And like Dee said, black people in fantasy, black elves, what's going on?
Fucking God, don't get me started about Lord of the Rings and motherfucking Wheel of Time and motherfucking anything else that has diversity in color. They're fucking fictional characters. They can be any fucking color. Like, let's stop.
That's not realistic. Neither is the dragon or the orc, for fuck's sake.
Well, and never mind the fact that they're saying that wasn't Tolkien's vision. It's like, did you fucking read the books? Because it fucking is. He mentioned dark skin on the Hobbits.
The Harfoots.
How many times? And so, like, you're not even a good asshole fan. Like you're not even doing it right. Like you suck at everything, and you should reevaluate the trajectory of your existence.
Yeah, fandom is crazy.
Yeah.
Like you're all talking, if it ain't white, it ain't right. I want all my people white. I'm like, that's not life.
Not what
It's
he said.
real.
Not what he said.
And now people are getting ready to lose their mind because they cast a black actor to play Wonder Man.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Like
How dare
losing their
they?
shit. Losing their shit.
What's the defining characteristic that Simon Williams must be a white guy? His only defining characteristic is he's an actor and a superhero. That's it.
Yeah.
But then, you're going to have those assholes who are going to be like, oh, that's no different than if you had made, Shang-Chi white or the Black. No, that's a false equivalency bullshit argument. And you fucking know it.
Yeah.
That's the worst part about it is they do fucking know. Everybody who makes those arguments knows exactly what they're doing, and they don't fucking care.
Oh, yeah.
I know that there are some genuine confusion, but those are the people that we can reason with. But most of them you can't reason with, and that's how you know that they know exactly what they're doing when they say
it's one of those.
shit.
It's like it's that whenever they do when like Marvel or DC or whatever, and they'll change the race of it because of one actor or another, and it's like, what? Ask yourself, is there anything about this character where their race is a defining characteristic? The Black Panther, kind of a defining characteristic. Shang-Chi, defining characteristic. As far as white superhero characters, I don't know. Maybe Daredevil, since being Irish Catholic is kind of a big part of the character's backstory. Maybe.
I can't see him a different color. He needs to stay white.
But outside of that, no.
Moon Knight. Is it a big? I am woefully incompetent with the Moon Knight comics, but Jewish, right? And it's apparently kind of a thing in the comics, and they didn't really mention that at all in the series. Like I didn't realize, and so that's a similar. That's another thing. So yeah, it's
they covered that in the penultimate episode.
Yeah,
a
that
good
was
degree.
the first that we really heard about it.
Yeah,
which because as somebody who didn't know anything about Moon Knight before I watched that show, I was like, oh, okay. I remember being surprised by that.
I think for me,
that was also there were.
Go ahead, D. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think in that case, though, because of the way they were slow building, we were getting to know him through the alternate personality who had no goddamn idea about any of that. So
yeah, that's true.
So there was a narrative reason. It was only at that point that we're actually the Mark Spector avert personality is actually opening up. That was a big part of the plot, was that he didn't talk about himself at all, gave no information. That was his character growth. So that one didn't. I know that there's the argument in the case that Oscar Isaac himself is not Jewish, ergo, and that's a level of the discussion that I don't feel qualified to get into an argument about in terms of, say, religion in that regard. Because that's the one scenario where you have a religious belief that's also considered a nationality of sorts, and there is,
that's the one that I can think of right off the top of my head that would also fit into this conversation that has taken on a lot more topics and a lot on a lot more subject material than it began with. And
I will defer to an actual Jew to say whether or not that is appropriate or not.
Race swapping characters, it doesn't bother me as long as it works narratively. If it works narratively, there's no issue with it. Like, that was the biggest gripe with Interview with the Vampire. They made Louis black. Like, they made him black, and he's not black in the book. So like, for me, if it worked narratively, I'm good with it, and it worked. So it didn't
they made it an intrinsic part of the story in a way that I was blown away by.
Yeah, and it was beautifully done. I just feel like all the backlash, all the prejudice, all the bigotry in the forums and all that shit. He's black, he's black. It was ridiculous. Phantom is out of control. I think Phantom is out of control because it's just something they always think that everybody has to be white. Like everyone does. And I just don't understand it. To a point where it doesn't need to be that way. That's not how life is. That's not who we see every day. We see a whole bunch of white people walking around every day. I see all shades of colors walking around every day. Like it should be just that. Like narratively. Like, and it worked really well. As long as your story narratively works, what's the point of race swapping? I'm worried about the Little Mermaid though. But we'll see. We'll see.
Right.
That's one of those cases where I'm like, that's gonna completely hinge on the actress to me. If she pulls it off. I remember at one point, Zendaya was attached to it at some point, and I would have been. After I saw The Greatest Showman, I was like, oh yeah, I would have had no problem with that movie. I knew she would have killed it.
Right.
You know, the actor whose name escapes me, who they just cast for Aquaman, is he's a great actor. Jonathan Majors has one line as Kang in the Ant-Man trailer, and I am completely sold. That way he goes, you know, so what's it going to be? And he squints, Ant-Man with that little condescend. I'm like, oh, this is not my new favorite villain, and he's had one line of dialogue.
Right.
And then Namor happened, and that's a whole different thing. But
that was amazing too.
Yeah, and you know, that was a case where I remember I was reading an interview with Ryan Coogler where he talked about why he wanted to use the Mesoamerican backstory for that to make it, you know, analogous to Wakanda and the whole. God, we just saw that the other night, so I'm still in mental gushing mode of how gorgeous and. I mean, I got it. I personally like it better than the first one, but it was partly because it was more of an ensemble. More of the characters got so much more to do, and just there was so. I love that movie. It was just fucking gorgeous.
No spoilies. I didn't see that
one. I'm trying to shut myself up so I don't give a spoiler because I'm still in that mental gushing mode where I'm like, I just saw it and it's so fresh in my head and I want to just be like, but this thing happened. It was so cool.
We had a pre-pandemic tradition we took when the new Marvel movie would come out. We'd go collect the kiddos, my sister's kids, from her and take them to the movie, and then they could stay overnight here and play video games until 3:00 in the morning. They fucking love that. They don't care about the movie, but anyway, that's why I haven't seen it yet, because we're trying to nail down when we can do that. And I am at this point where I'm like, maybe we should just go see it, and then we can just pretend that we didn't see it when we go with the kids, because
they don't have to know.
Yeah, no, I'm an adult. I can lie to them. It's allowed, right? Also, my internet is really fucking janky right now. I don't know what's going on, and I feel like that is the internet's telling me it's time for us to shut up and get off because we've gone over time.
It's a sign.
It's like the internet is sick of our shit. But I had right up until the internet, like the whole thing blew up and it told me, oops, something went wrong, and I was like, what the fuck went wrong? Nothing. But I had a nice line to try and tidily wrap this up as tidily as we can. But I think that the best that I'm going to be able to do now is to fall back on the Ruth Bader Ginsburg thing and say, when we have reached the point where nobody cares if the entire cast is gay or not white or Jewish, I guess. I don't like, again, I'm not qualified any more than you are. So, but like when we get to the point where it doesn't matter, none of those things matter, and only the story matters, maybe that's when we've gotten to the point where it's enough.
Right.
And that feels good.
I think I think one of the reasons that they're pushing back so hard, though, is that slowly but surely it is starting, because we have these newer filmmakers who don't care about these old, ways of doing things, who are going to do the period piece Bridgerton thing and cast the actors all across the map. And well, what about historical actor? Who cares? That actor's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
Agreed.
and right now, I think the level of the intensity of that conservative backlash is happening in part not because there's an agenda, but because there are newer makers out there, younger people who do not give a shit about all these old hatreds.
And change is
Yeah.
hard, and they're scared of it, and so they have to fight any way that they can to make
Yep.
it stop.
Keep it. Yeah.
It's just like,
Sad.
stop fearing the change. Change brings good stuff. And like, imagine if winter never turned into spring. Imagine if that change never happened. That would fucking suck, right? And if you keep trying to suppress all of the things we talked about, if you keep trying to suppress it, then think of all the cool shit that we're gonna miss.
Yeah.
It's just.
But I mean, with some of these people, if some of these people could vote the seasons away from changing, they would.
That's true. I would vote away winter. I'm not gonna lie. I fucking hate being cold, but I mean, so that was probably a bad example.
But like, another important point, real quick, is like, just because you don't like something doesn't mean that it shouldn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that it's bad. It doesn't mean that it shouldn't exist. That is exactly
Not
right.
everybody's gonna like everything, but as long as it's out there, somebody will like it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lori just declared heresy because I like to put powdered sugar on French toast. Like, we can still get along.
Right. I don't need to ban all powdered sugar.
Yes.
But she did threaten to burn the house down if I was putting log cabin syrup on there as well. And I was like, I'm not a fucking heathen. We have real maple syrup here. It's okay.
But I mean, that's a joke, but to turn it around a little bit, that's the difference. It's like, that's the kind of disagreements that are perfectly fine to have.
Exactly.
You know, it's when the
don't all have
disagreements
to like.
No, you cannot have powdered sugar. You are a heathen, and there are going to be laws now to make sure you can't have your powder. I mean, it's a weird damn example, but you know, that's the state we're in right now.
If we gotta code it, then we gotta code it, right?
You know, to where, you know, right now there are, you know, like you were pointing out, you know, as a cisgender woman, you have less rights than a corpse in certain regards, you know? You know, and yet, you know, it's still the hoops that I have to jump through for all the legal stuff that I've had to do. The name change, the insanity was something that if we go back in time 10 years and I decide as a cisgender man, I want to change my name to Optimus Prime, I would have had less of a hard fucking time than I did last year.
Yeah, that's insane.
There's a guy in Wisconsin that renamed himself to like Zip Bop Beeble. Just it's like, it starts with Zip Bop, and just Google it and you'll see. And he, no fucking problem. He did that, and it made news because he fucking did it without any issues. But if you decide that you don't fit the identity that you were, you know, and you want to change that, I mean, like, it's
when we get to equality, when we get to actual equality, that will be different. What we need now isn't equality, it's equity, because we're not all starting from the same position. We all four of us right now have different levels of privilege or lack thereof in our lives for one detail or another. It's not, you know, it is very much a spectrum. And so the circumstances right now need to be adjusted accordingly. That was the whole point of the Black Lives Matter movement. It's not equal. There is an inequity that needs to be addressed. You know, instead we have all these assholes screaming, no, all lives matter. But they don't. That's the problem. If they did, then it wouldn't be an issue and no one would have to.
You know, I said something about the Black Lives Matter thing to my mom, and just like country bumpkin white lady here, and she was like, all lives matter, Sarah. And I'm like, I fucking threw myself back in my chair and I'm like, well, of course they fucking do. And she was very much taken aback by that. And I don't know if I actually got her to change her mind, but I feel like maybe she actually listened. And all because I made some ridiculous gesture in response, like to.
Well, there's that firefighters analogy for that I love, where it's like your house is on fire and the firefighters show up and your neighbor comes out and says, "What about my house? All houses matter." But your house isn't the one that's on fucking fire.
Right.
I actually, so being a very Christian lady, I did use the lamb, the Jesus and the lamb. The shepherd had to go leave his entire flock to go find one lamb, and it's like all the lambs matter, but that was the one that was in trouble, and it's an actual story in the actual Bible. So I feel like that's a good strong one to use if people try to bring religion into it. Is that like Jesus thought that too? He used that the example was lambs, not people, but it's the same thing.
Yeah. So for our narrative here, it is equivalent when we are lacking both equality and equity. So there does need to be more inclusion. Creators like us need to make sure that inclusion is in the stories that we're telling. And the larger corporations are learning that, they're doing it because there's a market, because we'll buy that book if it's well done. Hopefully, but also the creators who are coming up, again, Sophie Campbell working on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the lead writer on that book now, is a transgender woman, and that is seeping into that narrative, and a lot of people may not like it. I think it's been amazing, but the more those narratives work into there, then we can get past that point where we have to make exceptions and we have to say, no, we're going to include this. I remember when they were talking about why they used Hawkgirl and Jon Stewart when they did the Justice League animated series, and they're like, you just did that for inclusion. And I believe the creator said, yes, otherwise it's a team of nothing but white people. It has to have some degree of representation. We have these characters.
It is.
Because there's always going to be some idiot that's going to say, well, Superman's not white, he's an alien. And you're just going to, you can't facepalm hard enough.
Right. Oh my God.
But then they still kind of, they did still lean on a little bit of cliches there because they decided to change Jon Stewart's backstory and turn him into a Marine instead of an architect. They still did a little bit of coding in there.
Well, I'm exhausted now. I feel I need a drink.
Right.
You asked me to be on a rant-based episode.
I want to have you on all the rant-based episodes. Like we did the She-Hulk episode and it was a blast too. So like all the ranting. You're invited to every rant-based episode. For the next forever. For as long as this show exists, you can come and rant with us. It's fine.
I will rant.
It's very good. It's very good. You are an excellent ranter. You can put that on your resume.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I get we probably should shut up. I mean, like we've been way over time now, and I know it's fine as long as you guys don't have anything else that you have to worry about doing after this, but like it's fine for us to do, but also I feel like I need to sit back and reflect on this shit because like there was shit came out of me that I didn't know was in there. So I have to assume that it's exhausting for like I said, I get to hide behind straightness and whiteness a lot, and that's stuff that not everybody gets to do, and that must be fucking exhausting to have to do all day, every day. And I salute you guys for it, and I salute everybody for it who has to do that because oh my God, an hour and a half here and I need a nap. And And yeah, so with that, like, do you have any parting thoughts that you want to, like, do you want to have any uplifting final message? The silence.
I don't know.
is deafening.
For
Or
all these
also
people-
where to find you on social media if you don't have an uplifting message, like where to find your stuff. And
Yeah, you should do that anyway if you do have an uplifting message, but then also your social media.
I would say for all the people out there that are constantly sitting there saying, well, why do we have to include these characters? Ask yourself why it bothers you that it's happening. You know, ask yourself that question. You know, and if you have a legitimate answer that's not because anything that's not white and straight and male scares me, why
Let's
is
talk.
that? You know,
Yeah, let's talk.
Time-
We want to hear it. If you
Do
have
so-
that,
do a little self-reflecting here.
yeah. And then and Ryan, how about you?
I think for me, like, inclusion and diversity and representation will always matter. You know, it is something that needs to be seen more and more each day. You know, for us as a community, for being part of the LGBT community, being Black, being married, being in an interracial marriage, being in a loving, beautiful world and at peace, that's what life is, peace and happiness. And it's reflected through diversity and inclusion with all races, all minorities, all sexualities. So, like I said, if it's not represented, it's not normalized. So being normalized makes it real, makes it poignant, makes it something that can be tangible, you know, into the ether. So that's what it needs to be, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's a good line. If it's
Yeah.
not diverse, it's not normal. And think of how much better we would all be if we did have more diversity. It's stupid. So, well, and social media, where can we find you? And where can we buy prints from Ryan Robinson? Because I need a couple of them on my walls.
Well, right now it's just direct messaging, man. DMing. But you can
That's how
find
I
me-
was gonna do it, but like everybody else.
Yeah. You can find me at Ryan Robinson on Facebook, R248 on Instagram. 5 Star Fridays on the Agent of Geekdom Network every Friday at 6.
His channel.
You can
That's
also
his
find
channel.
me on www.theartofryanrobinson.com. And that's it right now. And we just funded our book for the Adventures of Nicole Nohea, Journey to Haikua, so that'll be coming out here soon.
Awesome.
Yep.
Very excited. And D, social media?
Yeah, I'm all over the place. D Brisby Fish on Facebook. You can find me at findingdcomic.com. That is my website.
All right. And we had a comment from E-Man, I think, that got on late, saw and asked about any projects that we're doing. And we were talking about D's book that's coming out here. We're gonna throw that up there, right there. And then also this beautiful art that Ryan is doing for the Sundering that we're working on. And you can totally follow us on, we're at UH Studios pretty much everywhere, I think. So, you know, you can find what we're working on those places, E-Man. And thank you for wanting to support us all.
yeah, thank you.
And this whole getting sick thing is bullshit. I don't know if anybody's I don't know if there's anybody in the world who disagrees with me on that, but anyway, so yeah, so all that stuff. And thank you very much, Ryan, and thank you, Dee. Even though Dee had to run here, and I hope we can get you on again soon for more projects and more rants and stuff. Cause
Yeah, this is fun. This was real fun.
it's good.
Yeah, thank you
And-
guys.
I appreciate you guys coming. I appreciate y'all coming. And this is an intense subject. So it's like I said, there was shit that came out that I didn't know was there. So, but yeah, I don't think that we have anything else. I think we answered E-Man. If you go check out our social media. I think that was the last question. And if you guys have any more questions, you can put them in there because we can still see the comments pop up even after the show's over. So if you still have more questions if you go rewatch or anything, let us know because we'll answer them. We will forward them to Dee and Ryan, and we will answer them for you, and we'll get them answered for you because that's the awesome kind of people that we are. And guys, do you guys see the weird like the weird
You have bands
frame
on your
thing?
screen.
Yeah, the frame thing that's happening here because it's really fucking distracting. It's got to be.
Great
I don't
Blade
know
Runner.
why.
Very Blade.
It like my internet imploded there for a moment, and then when I came back, all my fucking camera settings were reset, and I was in the dark.
You're a replicant. You're a replicant, girl.
I might be. I don't know. It's so good that I don't even know. Anyway,
for us, it's at UH Studios official, I believe.
I'll type it in
Instagram?
the comments here too.
Yeah, if you can get them into the comments.
It's on Facebook and Twitch. It's at UH Studios and Facebook and Twitch.
They were asking
And
about
then-
Instagram specifically, so.
Oh, right. Oh, Instagram. There you go. UH Studios official on Instagram. There we go. There it goes. So, yeah, that should be everything, I think, then. We're good, right? Anybody else? Anybody else have anything to say before I turn it off?
My backdrop is
Thank you,
collapsing.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's
now
going
it's
on.
the internet. It's the internet and it's the backdrop. Like, guys, it's time to stop. Go home. Go to sleep. So, all right.
Thank you, Lori and Sarah.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.
And thank you, everybody, for watching. Bye.